Have you ever felt pressured or forced into doing something? Or maybe felt unwanted or disposable? These are stressful emotions that many of Chinese families and women go through for decades. 689 million women and 522 million families rights stripped from them just because of where they live. This documentary is showing how in 1980 the Chinese Communist Party forcefully stripped its citizens from rights like reproductive rights and basic human rights due to the overpopulation of China. This is the one-child crisis. China is a communist country, meaning that the Chinese government controls major resources like politics, the economy, and even the media. In 1943, Mao Zedong became chairman of China's special government, the Chinese Communist Party, also known as the CCP. During his 27-year service, he pushed heavily on baby making. More people equals more workers equals more money. Zedong made the population rate in China increase to 2.8%. This means the average woman in China gives birth to about 3 children. After promoting the pronatal policy, Mao Zedong passes away. In 1978, after Mao Zedong's death, a new chairman of the Chinese Communist Party rose into power, Deng Xiaoping. Under new rule, in 1979, the CCP released letters encouraging families to consider having children later in life or having smaller families despite large families being a part of Chinese culture and tradition. Regardless of this, the Chinese population rate began to decrease dramatically from 2.8% to 1.8%. However, this decrease wasn't enough for the CCP. The following year, in 1980, the Chinese Communist Party released a letter to adhere to the one-child policy. The policy was a population planning initiative and forced many of families to one child. The CCP had contraceptives like birth control and medical abortions widely available to Chinese citizens. The policy was not one completely violated reproductive rights, as women were restricted to conceiving only one child, but negatively impacts the rights of Chinese culture and the responsibility of religion. For example, in Confucianism, big families and a long line of ancestry is very important. The one-child policy combats this narrative, meaning that the policy also breaks religion rights and responsibilities. You might say that the Chinese Communist Party isn't wrong. How the policy does impact women's reproductive rights and religious rights and responsibilities, but is for the good of the nation and future babies. Well, only for rural baby boys. You see, 67% of Chinese citizens live in cities and 33% live in rural areas. The CCP were a lot stricter with the one-child policy in urban areas compared to rural. How so? The CCP allowed many rural families to conceive more than one child, whilst they forced urban women who were pregnant after one child with sterilization and abortion. In Chinese culture, ancestry and family lineage is very important. The traditional way for family lineage to get passed down is having a son. This becomes a problem as being restricted to only one child, you will only have one chance to have a son, which leaves baby girls heavily undesired and unwanted. Many mistreated, put up for adoption, abandoned, and even murdered. This also goes for any other deemed undesirable child, like a disabled one. Prime examples of Chinese citizens' rights and responsibilities stripped from them due to the overpopulation of the country. From basic human rights stripped from babies and the responsibilities to pass down lineage, there is honestly no surprise of the long-lasting effects of the policy. The most obvious long-term impact is the population rate went down. From the starting rate being from 2.8%, it significantly decreased to 1%. Another long-term impact is the now skewed gender population. The number of women in China is significantly lower than the number of men. Due to the undesirability of conceiving a girl and the pressure to conceive a boy, the male population grew in China. A more notable impact is pressure. Due to the one-child policy, immense pressure was placed on the children to succeed, to be able to take care of elders in the future. This affects responsibilities as now kids in China have to support their families on their own and also be really successful as well. The final impact is undocumented children. Often, due to the fear of the one-child policy, families that had more than one child would hide their kids, keeping them undocumented. This would cause these undocumented children to live harder lives as they aren't legally born, or in other words, affecting their rights and responsibilities. Obviously, many of rights and responsibilities were violated during the one-child policy. From reproductive rights, basic human rights, and even religious responsibility violations, proving that in 1980, the Chinese Communist Party stole Chinese families and women's rights by restricting consumption due to the overpopulation of the country and completely disregarding and ignoring Chinese citizens' rights and responsibilities. This topic is important because there's thousands of women and children that are still affected from this policy till this day.